Hello and welcome to the What's My Age Again podcast with me, Matt Rhodes, and my good friend, Matthew Caroline.
That's me. Heyo.
How you doing, Matt? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Good. You're looking well.
Thank you very much, and so do you. I like the fact that you decided to keep the tradition with the podcast and have a burnt head.
You know what?
Last time.
There was a moment when I thought I might not, but twice is a tradition, so I'll keep it going, eh? That's the thing. While we've got the sun, that's it. While we've got the sun, we might as well run the risk of looking like a big old tomato.
I like that. You know, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, should be joining you tomorrow. Thursday is supposed to be the hottest day of the year, is it not? Have you heard that?
Well, I mean, that makes perfect sense because obviously Thursday, I'm back in work. Hey!
Oh, yeah, so we might as well point this out, right? So we are recording this on Tuesday, the 23rd of June. So it's probably going to come out a few days after this. But Bojo, Mr. Boris Johnson, has finally approved another bit of easing of the lockdown where we can go to pubs and restaurants. So that means that myself and Matthew included will be going back to work in our, your full-time job and my part-time job. So, yeah, so that explains why Matthew's back at work. I've been back at work for pretty much the second week of lockdown. I've pretty much not stopped working. But it's nice to know the fact that everything's starting to come back into a kind of resemblance of normality, which is cool. I mean...
Kind of, yeah.
We think we need that. I mean, how have you found lockdown? I mean, we've spoke in between podcasts, but for our listeners, how have you been finding that?
I've been gradually losing my mind. I've taken to painting. You know, like
nice.
What else have I been doing? I made some. I did some wood burnings. I made some necklaces out of the creepiest necklaces you've ever seen. They were made exclusively out of parts of animals, so that's good. You know.
Sorry, you said parts of animals?
I did, yeah. Like, I mean, we're talking like leather and bone, and horn and stuff. We're not like it's not like just a rabbit strung up.
Liver.
Yeah.
Just liver. Yeah, livers.
Yeah, I made some of those. What else have I done? Been walking the dogs a lot, you know. That's about it.
Keep them busy. You're not going to tell the people you've been getting shredded and doing your big boy weights?
My big boy weights. No, see, I was gonna keep that as a surprise for when we inevitably do the Beachbody issue.
Yes.
And that's it. And everyone sat there going, "Oh, look at him there with his opinions, the big fat man." Oh no.
Just you wait.
Prepare yourself for that, friends.
Prepare yourself.
So what about you? What have you been up to?
Working, to be fair.
Just working.
Just doing a lot of working, keeping busy with stuff on the network. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's been quite a busy month, actually. If anyone who doesn't listen to any of the podcasts on this network, there's a few more podcasts have joined the network, so we kind of go in and stuff. So I've been kind of overseeing all that. We've got a new podcast called Into the Nerdiverse podcast with some friends that I've known for a very long time, like friends from high school who've been on my other podcast, the MCU one. So I've been helping them set up, and then Reece's podcast. There's some big things coming with Reece's podcast, with the ColeyMania podcast. So if you're a big wrestling fan, you need to kind of like keep an eye on this, because I've had some conversations today that kind of very exciting, but also quite scary as well for the possibilities of what might happen. Like it could be either very good or very bad, but it's pretty insane. But if that kind of pans out, it's something just something big. I can't really go much more into it.
No.
Yeah,
he was telling me, and I for one am excited. I feel like that's
yeah.
But then, I mean, while we're on the subject of the Into the Nerdiverse boys, they came on the Discord and caused ripples straight away.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Making political stances against certain people with, well, I mean, let's put it as it is. Weirdos.
That's the word they use as well.
Yeah.
What I would like to point out is the fact that if anyone wants to join that thing you like network Discord, it'll be on the descriptions in the video and on the pod descriptions, so you can join it and you can see the weird conversations. It's pretty much mainly you and the Nerdiverse boys just talking a load of shit, really. Would you say that's not unfair, or would you say it is fair?
I would say that is unfair because I was a polite and consummate podcast hoster and greeted them perfectly normally, and suddenly, before we knew it, political stances were being taken against people with outy belly buttons.
Oh yeah,
and it became a real hot button issue.
It was, yeah. It was my phone was blowing up from the heated debates that were going on the Discord, which is pretty funny.
This is it was certainly interesting.
That's what we've resorted to in these lockdown times, arguing about what's wrong or right about in-ears or outy belly buttons. Yeah. So yeah, that's fun.
I mean, I wouldn't. It might seem a bit strong, but God's mistake is the old outie there.
So, I feel like we might be going down a rabbit hole with this one, so I think we might have to nip it in the bud. I mean, we don't want to backlash from the outer community. They don't really want to be about that. The funny thing is, they were speaking about this.
This is the problem.
The out and proud. The thing is, they were talking about this same thing on their podcast earlier this week. They were talking about the chaos that they created. They were both very proud of Scott's work. So as long as you're proud of your work, then I'm totally fine with it. Don't worry.
Excellent news. I mean, I feel like this will continue to escalate until we all get formal warnings.
Until we all get cancelled.
Yeah.
Hashtag cancelled. Hashtag cancelled, because that's the real thing.
It certainly is. So moving on before we shake that a little bit too much. Yeah.
Yep.
What we're talking about this week. This episode.
Yes, this month. We're going to be talking about tattoos, as we alluded to in the last month's podcast. Tattoos. Are tattoos? Is getting a tattoo in your 30s a sign of early midlife crisis, or a tattoo is just okay no matter what age you are? And that's the kind of topic that we're going to be going and getting into.
Yeah, what a treat! Can't wait. Excited.
Very excited.
Yeah. So, should we crack on? Should we get on with it?
Yeah, let's roll with it. So let me throw this to you, Matt. So, as a man, Noah has multiple tattoos. Do you want to kind of tell the listeners and the viewers of the tattoos that you have, and when you got them, why you got them, and other things?
Other things. Just fill 10 minutes. So.
But no longer.
But no longer. Exactly.
We are sticking under an hour for this podcast.
We are bang on 10 minutes. So, I didn't get a tattoo till I was 30. It was like 2 days after my 30th, something like that.
Okay.
Because I am a remarkably fickle man, and despite the fact that I've known for years and years I've liked the same tattoos, I thought, yeah, no, that's really cool. I was convinced that the moment that I went and got a tattoo would be the moment that I was like, oh no, nope, don't like that anymore. So, and this was from being 18. So I put it off and I was like, nah. Anyway, then I got to my 30th and I was like, all right, well, actually, probably if it's consistent for 12 years, I'm probably not going to go off it all that much. So I went and got it done. And to be fair, I fucking love my first tattoo. It's great. It's the most ridiculous, traditional sort of. I believe it's American traditional, the style, and it's a sailing ship, and it's got crashing waves and thunderstorm, and it's on the top of my arm. It's got a couple of red roses there, and a ship's wheel. And I love it. It's fucking great. And then obviously it didn't hurt as much as I thought it was going to. And now the plan is to be completely covered forever.
Head to toe.
Yeah, I mean, probably because I'm at nature a coward, I'll probably stay off my face. But yeah, I mean, you can cover it with a shirt. What's the fucking problem?
That's true. You can.
Yeah. So, what about yours? When? How old were you, and what caused you to go with the tattoo in the end?
Okay. Well, first of all, for anyone watching, I will show you the tattoo that I have. So there you go. It's glory there. For anyone listening to the podcast, which I'm assuming you would do, it being a podcast, I have the 2000 and I want to say 2014, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man logo on my arm, on my left arm, on the top. That's the tattoo that I got, and I got that. I checked on Instagram yesterday, in fact, because I was like, I can't remember what day I got this, and I literally got it 2 days after my 31st birthday, which was only last year. So I got it last year I essentially bought it for myself for my birthday last year. And my thing about tattoos is, right, and this will kind of play into something that we're going to talk about later on when we get to the social media part of the podcast. So from like a young age, my mum was kind of very against me and my other brothers, because I have two brothers, were very against getting tattoos. She was like, don't get tattoos because like they're a mark on your body, they're never going to go away. That's it. That's you done. So you don't do it. If you ever get a tattoo and you live in this house, I will chuck you out, kind of vibe. She was very like, don't get a tattoo. My dad never had tattoos at all either. So it was just the thing where you didn't get a tattoo. So I was like, okay, fair enough. Just didn't really become a thing. I weren't really that asked about it because I was like, well, there's no point in getting that much trouble for a tattoo. Although I appreciated how cool some were, and I was always a bit like, yeah, I suppose it would be quite cool. I came very close once in 2015. Not even 2015, even earlier than that, I think it was 2009 actually. I came very close to getting a tattoo. I was on a holiday in Rhodes with my girlfriend at the time, and we were sat in a bar and I was a bit drunk, and some guy came around who was like, oh yeah, I do tattoos, and you give me a tattoo book. And I was looking through it, and he was like, oh, if there's another one that you want to get, just let me know. And this was, so the 2009, so I don't know how good the internet was at this point, but I'd managed to like draw the guy or find the guy. You know the Blink-182 Untitled album? You know the smiley face?
Yeah.
I either drew him that or I found him that on the internet and showed him that, and he was like, yeah, I could do that for you. So it's like like €50 or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, I could definitely do that, because if I was going to get any tattoo at that point, it was going to be a Blink-182 one, because I love Blink-182. But my girl at the time was like, we're in Rhodes in Greece, we don't know who this guy is, he barely speaks any English, probably not the best idea to get one, so I probably wouldn't do. And I wasn't living at my mum's house at this point, so she wouldn't have chucked me out. So I could have done it, but the only thing that stopped me was the fact that it was because it was in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And it could have gone fucking well wrong. And it was like 2 days into the holiday. So imagine trying to keep that out of the sun.
Yeah. I mean,
not a chance. So thankfully she talked me out of it. But that'd have been something that I was very close to getting.
So here's the question though, because so you got it after you turned 31, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there not a possibility that, and this is what we need to discuss here, getting your first tattoo at the age where people are like, oh, I'm not kidding anymore, I've turned 30, I'm proper grown up, and then you go out and get a tattoo. It does is it the start of a midlife crisis?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast, and what we're hoping to achieve is trying to like differentiate. Like, is this the start of a midlife crisis, or is it something that just people just do? I've got evidence that suggests both sides, that it is and that it's not. From personal experience, I thought it was. I honestly did. It didn't stop me from getting one, but it was a bit like, after I had it done, I was like, wait a minute. I kind of took stock of what I did, and I was like, am I just doing this because of, like, I've turned 30 and I'm a bit like, oh my God, I've not done so much stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I did like a slight wobble when I turned 30 about turning 30. So I was like, oh, there's so much stuff I've not done, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was with my ex-girlfriend who had been with for a very long time, and we were like saving for a house and stuff. And I wanted to get a tattoo when I turned 30 because I was like, I'm 30 now. My mum can't shout at me for getting a tattoo, and I've kind of wanted one. I've kind of wanted one for the last like 2 or 3 years, but didn't know what to get. It had to be something that I really liked and something that would always mean something to me and something that I'd never regret getting. So I was like, well, I wanted to get one, but it was because of my circumstances, I couldn't really do it because I had no justification of getting it. Because if I was going to spend a certain amount of money on a tattoo, but then not like when I could spend it on other things like progressing my life, like saving for a house and keep buying another car and all this kind of stuff. So I couldn't really justify that. And it wasn't the fact that my girlfriend told me that I couldn't get it, but it's one of those things. Like, obviously, if you're in a relationship, you kind of have to respect. You have to respect the bigger picture. You have to respect the bigger goal that you're both doing. So I couldn't realistically go out and spend money on a tattoo, and then she'd be spending money on putting money for a deposit for a house and stuff. So it was one of those things where I never really thought that. I was like, put that to the back of your mind. If you want to get one at a later date, you get one at a later date, because it's not massively important right now, because there's more important things. But then when that ended, I think it was like a couple of months before my 31st. I was like, whoa, well, I kind of can if I want to now, and there's nothing really, like, I don't have to justify it to anyone. And it's like, it's no like personal dig at my ex at all. It's just the fact that, like, at that point I had no further goal from what I was experiencing at that point, because you kind of got, like, when you become single at 30 almost 31, like, everything kind of gets turned upside down, and you're like, oh well, what now? And that's why, for me, I thought it was kind of a midlife crisis moment where I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm going to get a tattoo. Why the hell not? And then then I just didn't. And then it was literally a space of like a week where I was sat there thinking, I'm going to get a tattoo. I've got a bit of extra money this month. Why not? I'm going to do it. So I did it, and I got a mate, and he was like, yeah, I can do it. And I went and got it done. And that was it. And I for ages thought I've only done that because of the circumstances of the fact I've just broke up with a long-time partner, and I turned 30 this year, and like, I need to kind of just change something about myself. Yeah. And the fact was like, oh, when I had a tattoo, I'll get a tattoo. And that was it for me. And that's why I think, personally, it is a bit of a midlife crisis moment. I mean, I don't dislike the fact that I have a tattoo, and I love it to bits. But it definitely is, for me, a midlife crisis panic moment.
So my tattooist has got a ridiculously long wait list. Like, I won't go anywhere else because I like what he does. I get on with him, fucking brilliant. But I booked the first tattoo about 9 months before I actually had it, and then essentially completely forgot about it. And it happened that we'd gone on holiday, and we were I had this tattoo booked on the 7th of January at like 3:00. And I only landed in Manchester at like 1:00 from Rome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was could have completely missed it, but like, any slight problems and it wouldn't have happened. But it all worked out all right. I think as well, I think with your first one, the number of people who tell you it hurts, like a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, it does, you feel it, but the number of people who say, oh, it's horrible, like people go out of their way to put you off, I find, a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah. That I kind of, if you say that now, I think a lot of it back when I was younger was the fact that I was like, oh, that's really going to hurt. I don't think I really want to put myself through that because I don't really like needles anyway. So I was like, oh, that's going to be a bit too much. But yeah, I completely get what you're saying there.
Yeah, and obviously Scott, my tattooist, he's fucking brilliant. Like he was very much like if it hurts too much, we can stop, we can reschedule, we can do whatever. Talk through the whole thing, absolutely fine. But I think it does help that obviously before I went to get it done, a lot of my friends get those done by him as well. And like a very, very good friend of mine, he looks like an absolute stereotypical villain of a man. You know, we're talking like usually has a Mohican, two big tattoos either side of it. You know, big old bushy beard. He's a giant of a man anyway. And he was one of the people who said, "Oh, well, if you're having one done, pop over there because he's really good." I was like, "Yeah, no worries." But because the tattooist knows like a lot of my friends, it was almost a case of, right, well, I'm just going to have to sit here now, like whether it hurts or not, because if I back out of it halfway through or don't get it finished or whatever, I'm not going to get the end of this. This is
yeah.
And I mean, luckily enough, it doesn't hurt as much as people rated to. And you know, I started on the top of my arms, and it doesn't hurt there. It was really good, but yeah, I feel like perhaps it is a sign of an oncoming midlife crisis. The only saving grace is that I've been an idiot for my entire life, so I don't. My behaviour is relatively consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, this it. So what's the Spider-Man connection?
Well, like I said to you before, it was one of those things where it had to be something that kind of really means something to me and something that I'm always going to like. So my first one that I was considering getting was Blink-182 because I've been a Blink-182 fan like pretty much since I was like 11 or something like that. And I continue to like them this day, and I probably will continue to like them until they stop making music, which God knows when that might be. But so I was like, it has to be something that I really, really, really like, and something that I'm not going to be like ashamed of having on my body. And because I'm a big MCU fan, and not just MCU though, like I've loved Spider-Man since I was a kid. Like growing up watching like the 90s cartoon and like that, like being my childhood. And I've always had Spider-Man toys, and I've kind of just always grown up with Spider-Man. Even when he wasn't in the MCU, I was still obviously a massive fan of Spider-Man, and obviously every single film and like iteration of it I enjoyed anyway. But like the specific Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man logo is my favourite Spider-Man logo. And so I was like, well, I wanted a Spider-Man logo. I wanted a Spider-Man tattoo. But I just didn't know what kind of one I wanted. And then when I was just like doing some research, and I found the actual, like the logo that from the end of the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one I think it is, when he's on his skateboard and he like goes through some like I think it's like through some like building construction or something, and someone's like spray painted the logo on a wall. Yeah. And he's looked up and he's like, that's cool. And I'm like, it is really cool. So that's the exact like logo that I've got on my arm. So that's why I got it, because I love Spider-Man, and I think I always kind of will love Spider-Man, even when I'm older and I've got kids and stuff. I'll be making them. They will have to watch all the Spider-Man films. They will watch the Raimi films. They'll watch the Garfield ones because they're not that bad. The Garfield ones are good. They'll obviously get the Holland MCU ones. They might even be treated to the 90s TV show, the cartoon, because that still is incredible as a cartoon show.
Yeah, I feel like
it's amazing.
That's better than some of the films, as far as I know. You know,
it is. I think that's the first we really don't go on a tangent here, but that's like kind of the first like Marvel universe that was created, because you had the X-Men cartoon as well, and you had like the whole cartoon, the Iron Man cartoon, all that kind of stuff. But the Spider-Man, there's like a story arc in there where they go to like a planet. They're brought to a different planet by, I think it's Doctor Doom brings them to like a different planet or something, either or Dormammu, and they've got to escape from this planet, and then Captain America's there, Iron Man's there, Wolverine's there, Fantastic Four are there, and it's just like, hey, all these weird Marvel characters are all on one cartoon. It was just well good, and I never forget anything like that. So yeah, I think they started the first like Marvel universe,
animated universe.
Yeah, so that's the reason behind my my Spider-Man tattoo, and the fact that you said that it doesn't hurt as well. What I found with it is it didn't hurt at all. It just ached having one body part in the same place for that amount of time.
Yeah, I mean,
you got your arm over the thing, and and you're just like, ugh. You just want to move your arm, and that's what kind of got me for it. It didn't necessarily hurt. It was just like a bit of it was just irritating.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if someone listens to this and then goes and gets a tattoo, and it does hurt a bit. Like, I'm not saying just go in and
it's a breeze. It's not a breeze.
You won't notice it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like,
no, it definitely is not the worst thing in the world. I've been through much more painful experiences that probably are less rewarding than this, because it is quite rewarding. And I feel now in the current in our current like situation with society and all that kind of stuff, I don't think tattoos are really that much of a minority of a thing these days. Like, it's far more common to have a tattoo these days than it would be, say, when I was like 19, 20, like 17, something like that. They were common, but they weren't as accepted in certain places. Like, I got this, and I pretty much wear like t-shirts to work, or like shirts that show a lot of sleeve, and like no one said anything when I walked in with this tattoo. They didn't like bat an eyelid. They were like, you can't have that tattoo. And I work in a solicitor's office.
I mean, was there a danger they thought you were Spider-Man?
What's that?
Was there a danger they thought you were Spider-Man? Like, this is...
Well, my boss did think I was Spider-Man because I came in one day wearing a Spider-Man hoodie.
Dressed as Spider-Man.
The Iron Spider from Infinity War. Like, I've got a hoodie that's like essentially like the suit of that. So I kind of walked through, and he was like, he stopped me in the corner. I was like, thought you were Spider-Man then. And I'm like, well, because I'm wearing a hoodie that has Spider-Man on it. Good one, boss.
Nice.
Don't tell him I said that.
It's amazing how often I get mistaken for members of famous bands because I am wearing famous band hoodies.
Whoa! Are you in Motley Crue or AC/DC?
Hear
What? Wait, Yo Lemmy out here. Yo Lemmy, you wearing Motorhead?
Right. And there is me thinking Elvis had died, and so. But
wow, he's also ginger. I never knew.
Well, it's you put the voice on, don't you?
Thank you very much.
So yeah.
Matt, before we go any further, I need to know you. I need to hear your best Elvis impression. People are going to think that you are actually Elvis.
But that's the problem. It's just audio. Do you not find the best Elvis impression is also a pretty good Johnny Bravo impression?
Of course, it's the same person. I'm pretty sure he's based on Elvis. Johnny Bravo has to be based on Elvis.
I'm pretty sure he's voiced by Elvis because Elvis didn't have that much money, and sideline gig. So yeah, I don't know.
There eating a cheeseburger, doing Johnny Bravo lines.
Yeah, just getting about, being like, "Hey, mama."
Oh, mama.
This is it. That's double. You can have that. That's a Johnny Bravo and an Elvis impression.
Yep, there you go. 2 for 1. 2 for 1. For anyone who didn't grow up watching Johnny Bravo, YouTube Johnny Bravo.
Go back.
Yeah, he pretty much is just Elvis without the sparkly jackets and immense mutton chops. I mean, he's got sideburns, but not like full on mutton chops.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
Big old
facial hair.
Blonde kung fu man as well.
Of course.
So what we need to what else do we need? The other thing is, so you were talking about your mum having not a problem with it now per se, but when you were younger. See, the person who has a problem most with mine is my grandma.
Oh,
like she is not a fan at all. But like she will go further in a condemnation than you would ever than any normal person would. Like she last time I saw her, bearing in mind I've just had one done on my forearm. Last time I saw her, she said, "Right, that's enough now. Don't get any more of them till after my funeral." There's nothing up with her. Like there's absolutely nothing up with her. She's cracking on, yeah. Just and then right. Well, I mean, I am because I've gotten booked in. So there we go. And she threatened to haunt me. She's not dead. Like, I don't. She's fine. She's cracking on, and then.
But she's she's prematurely threatening haunting.
Yeah.
Because you might possibly get another tattoo.
This is it. Yeah. It's
Wow, that's extreme, and that's quite funny though, because I don't know about you, but if one of my granddads was quite not heavily tattooed, but had quite a lot. So to say it's a generational thing is probably untrue, because I mean a lot of men back then would have had a lot of tattoos, and people in the army and forces and stuff like that. They kind of just, I think it's one of those things that you kind of just get, don't you?
Yeah.
And or even if you working in certain jobs, it's just kind of it's kind of stereotypical, the fact you're going to get them kind of manual labour workers will get a lot of tattoos. Like one of my granddads worked a lot with cars, and the other one kind of did. I did both work with cars actually. So, but one of them did more hands-on stuff with cars, and he had quite a lot of tattoos. So I don't think my grandma would have ever thought tattoos are a bad thing, because it's just one of those things that just over time they've kind of grown up with it. Whereas there must have been a point in our timeline that they kind of stopped being acceptable. So maybe the 80s or something, like the 80s, early 90s, maybe that was a thing where people just didn't get a lot of tattoos, so it kind of came out of fashion.
Well, yeah,
and then when it came back, it came more acceptable.
So your mum is anti-tattoo. I presume it's not your mum's dad who had tattoos then?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, you're completely right. Yeah, my dad's side. I don't think my grandma has a tattoo. My granddad didn't have a tattoo. Or as far as I'm aware, I can't remember ever having a tattoo. But my dad doesn't have a tattoo. Never had any sort of inkling of getting one. Both my brothers don't have tattoos. I'm the only one of my brothers who has one. So it's mum and mother's side and her dad who have tattoos. But she was like, "Don't get them. Don't get them. They're bad."
Well, this is it. I mean, my dad's thinking about getting one now. He's 60, 61. And he's
yes. Approve that.
Yeah,
take him. As soon as the parlour's open again, take him to a tattoo.
Well, this is it. I'm not staying out of it because, as we've previously discussed, he's a particularly muscular man. I'm not getting involved. If he wants to go and get tattoos, he can. I'm not saying he can or can't, because he'd get me.
Oh, please, will you please make him get the anchor tattoo? Like Popeye.
like Popeye, yeah.
On his arm. Just get a ding, 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 ding,
ding. But this is it, yeah. So he's thinking about getting
incredible.
One now. My brother's got one booked in. I feel like it's relatively common now that, it's not frowned upon anywhere near as much as it was.
It definitely isn't. It definitely isn't anymore at all. I mean, I probably wouldn't worry about going to a job interview anymore. Not that I've ever been worried about going for job interviews, but I wouldn't be worried about going to a job interview and wearing something that kind of has the bits of my tattoo on show, because for more than what it kind of can be a conversational starter and stuff, and I feel with tattoos it's kind of, speaking of someone who's only got one tattoo, but for people who speak a lot about tattoos and what they feel about it, it's kind of like a window to like a shop window of the kind of person that they are, and the things that they like, the things that they enjoy, and what kind of means a lot to them. So that's the reason why you get these tattoos, is because I suppose people get stupid ones like the tash on the finger and Chinese symbols.
But again, that says a lot about them. That does say a lot about them.
I suppose it kind of makes the happy-go-lucky scamps, aren't they?
Well, that's one way of putting it, certainly.
So, what I will say is my
Why did you say all those horrible things about your girlfriend?
I didn't.
Right,
I didn't say anything bad about my girlfriend. My girlfriend's amazing. So she wants to get a Chinese order on a neck.
A Chinese
order? Like a order that she gets from the Chinese, which wants it in Chinese writing.
Right. Okay.
So
I mean, that is
so
funny.
again, I can't turn around and like give people too much stick about that kind of stuff. She's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get that, but she's got other tattoos and stuff, and she's had ones that are far more meaningful to her. But she was like, I want this because that's going to be fantastic because like that's my Chinese order. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it could come across a bit racist.
No, I mean,
you're essentially poking fun of the Chinese language by being like, this is my favorite food order. I'm not going to go to Germany and have like whatever they say, bratwurst tattooed on the back of my neck, am I? So
well, no, because I mean,
could be construed any way you want it to.
That certainly could, especially because I feel like if you go to a foreign country, right? Like if you went on holiday, came back from holiday, and you had a tattoo on you that was just a specialist type of sausage, Matthew. Like,
are we talking descriptive, or are we talking like the picture of it, or are we just talking about like the written word of it?
I don't think it matters. I think because either way, the thing, right? No. So as much as you could explain that all you wanted to the people you know, the people who see you, this is the other thing, you are going to, and I'm not saying judge people based on the tattoos they've got, but if you see a man in the swimming pool and he's got bratwurst tattooed on the back of his neck, maybe just swim a little bit faster. That's all I'm saying.
I think the difference is, though, if you get a tattoo of the word bratwurst, then people might just think you really like bratwursts. But if you get a picture of it on the back of your neck, people just might be like, that guy likes hot dogs.
Might.
How much can you differentiate between a hot dog and a bratwurst on a tattoo on the back of someone's neck?
This
That's
is
the question.
It. But then
you don't know. You just don't know.
Surely the hot dog, what makes a hot dog is, like if I said to you, I had a hot dog, we're not just talking about the sausage. You're talking hot dog bun. It's a constructed thing. Whereas a bratwurst or
but you have a bratwurst on a bun, though, don't you?
Well, I don't know. It's your tattoo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get most bratwurst on actual buns. So it's like a hot dog, but it's just like a sausage instead of a processed meat thing.
I mean, do you know what sausage is?
I know what sausage. Yeah, but like, there's different kinds of sausage. Like a hot dog is not a sausage, is it? Really? For one thing, it's not in skin, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, hot dog skin, hot dog sausage. Like, you go to IKEA, it's definitely got skin on it.
Oh, yes.
Either way.
I think we're going too much in the logistics of sausages and hot dogs here. So I think we're kind of going off on a tangent now. We might best off moving on before I start to look foolish in my comparisons towards bratwurst and hot dogs.
Perhaps. So we need to. What we need to do is get just a quick message from our friends on the That Thing You Like network.
Yeah, cool. So, let's do that.
Hello, everybody. My name's Reece Cole. You are listening to or watching another one of our incredible podcasts that is part of the That Thing You Like network. I am here to talk about the ColeyMania podcast, where I invite people from the UK, from all over the world, to talk anything pro wrestling, from our favourite entrances, memorable storylines, what got us into wrestling. We like to do a monthly thing where we talk about pay-per-views that have happened, and just anything that gets us going. So if you want to find me, I'm out on Twitter, it's @ColeyMania, and I am of course part of the TTYL network. Thank you.
Okay, so we're back in the room. Wasn't it nice to hear from our friends?
It was. All of our lovely friends on the network. I mean, you might have even heard a familiar face. We don't know. Not until post.
Could be anyone. Could be us. We'll put an advert for ourselves in the middle of it. So, why not? You know what you like. You know why you're here. So I've got some actual factual research for you, if you like, Matthew.
Actual factual research?
Yeah, so...
That's a good bit of rhyming, actual factual research.
That's it. I mean, I'm very big in the hip-hop community, as you can imagine. So...
What's your latest tune called?
Really, I mean, I don't want to give away too much because there's a lot of SoundCloud rappers out there desperate to take my take my crown. And while we're on the subject, SoundCloud rappers, there is a tattooed demographic. There,
100%.
It doesn't seem to affect their employment.
That's the kind of stats we want. That's the kind of stats we require. But we don't have them, so we have to do the ones that have been supplied to us.
This is it. These are the facts that we actually have. In the UK, as of 2015, last week.
Last time stats were done.
Yeah, last time anybody.
I'm pretty sure stats stopped being stats in 2017. I think that's common knowledge that stats have not been taken since.
No, well, that's it. I've not been asked, so it makes sense. Actually, it's the most likely people to have them. Like it's women. Women are well more likely to have tattoos than men.
Okay.
Turns out, but you know who don't like them? After all we were saying about generational things, you know who don't like them? The elderly. They're just
really
to the point where they told a man asking questions, and like all the old people I know are relatively nice. So the fact that this fella's gone, do you like people with tattoos? And they've straight up gone, no, I don't. Get out.
Do you reckon they've been berated?
Yeah, I feel
asking such a silly question.
I feel like he's casually said, "Excuse me."
He or she has done this, by the way. Not
he
or she.
We don't know who's done it,
we don't know.
The interviewer has said, "Excuse me, old man / woman. Excuse me, old crone. Tell me, what are your opinions on tattoos?" And then they've just been spat at. That's the.
Wow, is that on the statistic? I can't say statistic. Is that on the description of the statistic? Oh.
It is word for word. I'm reading that from a statistical website.
Thank you very much for that. Says, anytime I need to say that word now, I'm going to insert you saying it because I cannot say it. Statistic. Statistic.
Well, that's it. I find that if you're struggling to say a word, try doing it in a Matt Berry-esque voice. Makes it much easier. Just a powerful blast.
You there, statistical. Oh, nice.
See?
Nice.
It's not
I don't know why I would say you there. like a person. You there, statistical.
You didn't do the voice. You didn't do the voice, so it don't work. So, anyway, these are the things we've learned.
Man. Yeah, go on.
These are the things we've learned. The old people don't like them. Women are more likely to have them, right? Despite the fact that. So, here's the thing. Do you reckon it's fair that this man's gone interviewing, and apparently women are more likely to have them when you've got to factor in like the little star, like there'll be like a tiny star on their wrist, and they'll go, "Oh, I've got a tattoo." Whereas if I went to someone and said, "Oh, I've got a tattoo," and that was what I had, I feel like they would turn and say, "No, you haven't."
Oh, so you're debating what is considered as a genuine tattoo.
No. Whoa.
It sounds like you're being very tattooist.
A twast.
Yes.
So no, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that perhaps the statistics lie a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe they do. I mean, what is there like any statistic for like age groups? Like, is there a certain age group that's more likely to have tattoos or more likely to be open to getting a tattoo?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily the more likely to have them, but they are more likely to be open to them. It tends to be between 25 and 40, essentially.
Oh wow, as high as 40?
As high as 39.
Well,
all the way to the end.
You'd have thought if you were turning 40 as well, like if people are panicking at 30, then you probably panic more at 40, wouldn't you? So they'd be like, "Oh, tattoo now at 40, boom."
This is the other thing.
Before the 40.
Are you including, like, when as beauty procedures you get your eyebrows tattooed and stuff? These are.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because a lot of ladies do get their eyebrows tattooed.
I mean,
I feel like in 2015 though, you probably didn't get a lot of tattooed eyebrows. But when did tattoo eyebrows become a thing?
I don't know.
In fact, you know what? 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this right now, and I'm going to go to an independent source for this. So I'm going to ask this question to an independent source who will tell us the name and when they first found out about eyebrow tattoos. So, independent source, when did you first find out about eyebrow tattoos? No source found. Thank you very much, independent person, for your input.
That's the magic of podcast production.
Yeah, exactly. So that information that you saw there, that was our source, and that's what we should take as gospel. So enough of that subject. Let's move on to the.
Okay, so what we can do next is how are things going over on the social media desk, Matthew?
Hello, Matthew. It's me, Matthew, at the social media desk.
Hello, Matthew. You're looking well.
Thank you very much. I've managed to come into quite a lot of hair in this current lockdown. I need a haircut. I mean, look at this. I don't know what this is about. It's very shaggy. I've not maintained this lock very well. These locks very well. But I will talk to you about our social media happenings. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to draw our attention to a Miss Samantha Ellis. Now, Samantha Ellis said that she got her first tattoo when she was 34.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it's not too old, but I mean, it's a reasonable age to get your first tattoo. But she said that she almost fainted after her first tattoo. But you know what? That did not stop her. Didn't stop her though, because she carried on, and now she's planning her 17th, 18th, and 19th tattoos. So she definitely did not let that slow her down. And I'm pretty sure she's not that much older than us, even at 34. So I think she must have bought a lot of tattoos quite quickly.
Nice.
So fair play to her.
Yeah.
Well done, Samantha. I've also got another person called Andy Jones.
Andy Jones. Andy Jones, yes.
You know Andy Jones?
I know Andy Jones.
You know Andy Jones. Anyway, Andy Jones is a very nice lad, and basically, a bit like myself, he got told that he wasn't allowed to get a tattoo by his dad, and if he did, he'd get kicked out of the house. Again, just exactly the same as me. But basically, one time, his parents went on a holiday, and he
incredible move.
But this is the nice thing, though. That he got his first tattoo when his parents were abroad, but he got that he got his first tattoo for his twin brother, who unfortunately committed suicide in 2019. But that was like his first tattoo, and he obviously felt very strongly about getting it, and in memory of his brother, which was really, really nice. And we had a bit of a back and forth about it, and I kind of dug in more into like the implications of what happened, because he said that obviously his parents would be very annoyed about the fact they got it. But it turned out they were a bit annoyed at first, but when they realised what it was for and what it stood for, again, they saw saw the nice side of it, and obviously didn't chuck him out of the house, which is good for him, and also really nice for the fact that he was doing it in memory of his twin brother. So, Andy, that's very responsible, but you did it for all the right reasons, so we can definitely agree that was a good move.
Yeah,
not for anyone else though. Yeah, we're not accepting any other people just getting tattoos for no reason and then giving us bogus reasons for getting it. Legitimate reasons only.
Sure.
So I mean, how do you feel about that? Like tattoos that, like, obviously, because ones that are more meaningful than just like your average tattoo, because you can get like tattoos like I've got, like Spider-Man, but ones that people get for family members of lost, or for like children and stuff like that. How do you feel about them kind of tattoos? Because I think they're really nice, and I definitely will get a sort of tattoo for my children once I have children, I feel.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind it. Like at the end of the day, because it's it's your body. You do. I'm a very big fan of you do what you want. So if something means something to you, then absolutely brilliant. If it's a way of honouring someone or showing respect or remembrance or whatever, then good stuff. Good on you. But then equally, I think if not every tattoo has to mean something, like
No.
just there is a danger of people saying, "Why have you got that? What's that for?" And I think sometimes some people are a bit too put on the spot to just go, "I like lions," it's
Yeah.
So I think it's whatever you make of it, and if that's a way that helps you feel a bit more connected to someone or in their memory, then that's fantastic news.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna kind of keep that theme going to it because another person that got in touch, Emma Jane Richardson, she said that an old friend of hers got his first tattoo by pointing to a lady and saying he wanted the same as her.
Right, okay.
Little did he know it was a solidarity tattoo for a lesbian support group. So he had to wear long sleeves when he went out in Manchester.
Excellent news, and you know what? Good on him. Up the support groups, I guess. Yeah.
Strong. Yeah, got to support them groups.
That's it. Because we know Matthew, obviously, who runs the world.
Girls.
That's a stone cold fact.
It's a stone cold fact. We know this. We know this more than anything else. They run the world. Of course they do. I've got two more for you, and I'm kind of going to join both these together, right? So,
okay.
We spoke before about the fact that my mum did not want me to get tattooed when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now, she went through a divorce with my father when in her late 30s, and she actually broke her own rule and got a tattoo at the age of, I think it was 37 or 39. She told me the story, but I can't remember for the life of me what it is. I'm pretty sure it's either 37 or 39. So she got her first tattoo at that age, seemingly because of the breakup between her and my father.
Yeah.
And she got that, and it turns out the reason why she got that is because her boyfriend then, who's essentially my stepdad. They're not married, but he's my kind of stepdad. Yeah. He has a lot of tattoos, and he was going getting another tattoo, and she was like, "Oh, I might get a tattoo." I think she's probably trying to impress him. I'm calling my mum out here. Big Sue, if that's the reason why you got that tattoo, how irresponsible. And you lecture me for all these years about getting a tattoo, and then you go and get your own tattoo because you're trying to impress a boy.
This is
You're at 37.
You can't. And the thing is, you can't kick yourself out of the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a thing.
That's just try and kick yourself out of the house.
That's just leaving the house.
Yeah. So I've called out my mum, Big Sue. If she listens to this podcast, I'm going to get an angry text when she listens to this. If not, it proves that she doesn't listen to the podcast.
On the plus side, though, on the plus side, if you do get an angry text, I'm Matt's mum. Big Sue, a pleasure. No, I think that's done. That's fine. We can greet your mum. She's listened.
Yeah, she loves it.
More than my mum does.
She's listened, and we're happy to. Does she? Oh, that's lovely.
No, she doesn't.
I'm glad this is.
No, she doesn't. She don't listen to me in real life. I don't know why she'd listen to a podcast. So yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah. So Big Sue, you got your first tattoo. She even refers to it as a tramp stamp, which is pretty funny. Brilliant. The fact that she refers to it, it's on the bottom of her back. Oh God, I can't say that I know what it is. It's a very typical tramp stamp tattoo, I'm assuming. Maybe it's dolphins. Maybe it's birds.
Maybe it's dolphins. Unicorn.
Something like that. Could be unicorn. I don't know. I personally don't really look at my mum's lower back a lot, so she might have told what it is, but I don't want to know what it is at the end of the day. I just know that she has one. So
it's not like you.
She referred to it as a tramp stamp, so it's fine.
It's not like
I'm not going to get in trouble for that.
It's not a caricature of you and your brothers, is it?
Like, God, imagine if it was.
And she said, "Oh yeah, no, this is my children. There they are. Look at them. That's and
no, I'm not going to get.
I'm
not going to get into the logistics of how awful that is. I had an actual idea for a tattoo. I'm not going to get into that because there's a lot of implications that would make that very uncomfortable for anybody involved. So yeah, I'm going to skip past that and I'm going to go straight into another person who's got in touch.
Good,
I hope that's okay.
That's absolutely fine. That is absolutely fine.
Good. Claire Higgins. Now, Claire Higgins has got in contact, and she's blown my mother out of the water with this one, right?
Okay.
So Claire Higgins says, forget 30s. Her grandma was in her 60s when she decided to get her first tattoo. She was 60. She was like in her 60s when she got her first tattoo. That's incredible. So I asked her what it was, and she said that she got a daisy chain down the side of her hand, her wrist and her arm. And then she got a second tattoo a couple of years ago when she walked into a tattoo studio on a last-minute whim, apparently.
Nice.
What an absolute legend. That is cool as fuck.
So what did she do then? Did she wander in and just pick something off the flash wall or what?
Just wear a flaming skull. I'll have that one, please.
What an absolute power move.
Yeah, exactly. That's incredible. Like, I'm well impressed. So, Claire Higgins' grandma. What an absolute top effort by you. Like, we're well impressed.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to see what Big Sue does next. If she's got competition now. This is.
I'm going to try to tell her shave her head and get like a full head tattoo like Travis Barker has. That's my next move.
Get the old can.
Grandma. I don't know who she is, but she's blowing you straight out of the water. You need to up your game, son. When your
mum comes back with a boombox and "Can I Say" tattooed across her collarbone, that's the.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. That'd be absolutely incredible. So yeah, that concludes the social media desk. So
what an absolute treat!
I'm gonna throw it back to you now, Matt.
Good. What a treat! I'm glad we heard from social media Matthew there. What a lovely person.
I'm a bit confused about why he's got such a bright red hairband. It's almost very very. What her name is now? It's almost very Wonder Woman like.
Wonder Woman.
But it's not really. But
well, you know,
could almost
be. Hold on. Who are we to say?
Who are we to say? So, are we going to conclude what we think about this? Are we what we're chalking this up to then? Because we've had a lot of evidence that suggests both sides.
You know what?
What do you think? What do you think? Is this a midlife crisis move or is it not?
I think, and I'm going to absolutely sit on the fence here. I think it depends, A, what the tattoo is of, but also B, what you as a person are like. Like, you know, it's a combination of things. Like, if, for instance, you at 30 went out and you got your Spider-Man tattoo, fair enough, right? Okay, not midlife crisis. But if you combined that with getting a convertible with perhaps a little Spider-Man air freshener on or something, you know, the evidence is stacking up then, isn't it? You know, you've got to be it's a case-by-case basis, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping at the end of this run of podcast we can actually put together like a definitive like checklist of things. Like, if you do all these things, you are essentially going through a midlife crisis far too early.
This is the other thing. This is the other thing. If you keep it vague and you sit on the fence and you judge it case by case, you know what that means, don't you? We aren't having midlife crises. However, we reserve the right.
Yeah, I'm going to say we can't announce that so early. We're only on 3 episodes.
No, but what I'm saying is we reserve the right to call other people out on it.
That is exactly right. Yes. yes.
The pros of sitting on the fence, that's the, you know.
Because we can carry on then for as long as we need to do. We can just carry on doing this podcast and just churning out topics after topics and everything. I'm only kidding. We're obviously trying to hit the most important things and talk about what we actually personally think is the reasons behind potential midlife crisis when you turn 30. So you're completely on the fence with this.
Yeah, I feel like it's entirely person dependent. Like, and again, this is the other thing. It depends on what the tattoo is, because you've gone out and you've got something that means a lot to you tattooed on. If you'd have gone out and come back with, I don't know, like your first tattoo is a Grim Reaper tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Like just apropos of nothing. You were like, oh, feeling a bit boring today. Best lean on that pretty heavy. Then maybe that is. I say there's a lot of grey area in it. That's ironically like a Grim Reaper tattoo. So,
yeah. Well, depends on what you kind of classify as his attire. Grey or black?
His attire on a unicycle. There you go, cop for that. That's a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm going to go now. This guy.
The one last, what we need to actually clear up is we've got a good plan, haven't we? What are we doing next? What are we doing next time we're back?
Oh, yeah, we have got some very, very interesting ideas going forward. And next month, we are going to be covering. We're going to be taking a bit of a slight, little detour of the classified things of what you call midlife crisis, panic mode things. We're going to go into talking about things from our youth and our childhood, like nostalgia things. We're going to we're going to be keeping on with the main trajectory of deciphering what is midlife crisis worthy, but we're also going to be like taking a step back and looking at things that kind of brought us to where we are today and made us the people we are today. So this is something that we talked about in the last podcast and we're quite excited about covering. We're going to be going into old school drinks, so like alcoholic drinks from our youth. So we're talking like likes of hooch, like WKDs, VKs, and stuff like that. And we're going to get. I think the plan is to get the guy. Plan to get Reece from the ColeyMania podcast. We're going to get him on.
What a guy!
Yeah, what a guy indeed. We're going to get him on. We're going to sit around and talk about these drinks and what made them so special to our youth. And kind of helped us be the people we are today, because that makes us like alcoholics.
Help us be the alcoholics we were yesterday.
The stories behind that kind of enrich our personalities and our childhood and our past. So I think that's the thing we're going to go into. We're going to look at stuff that we obviously enjoyed when we were younger. So the first episode in that run of episodes, which is probably going to. Every other episode we'll do one of each. So we're gonna have Reece on. We're gonna drink some old school drinks. We're gonna reminisce, and we're gonna have a good time talking about it. So that should be a really, really fun episode. You haven't been drinking in this episode, but I have, and you can probably be able to tell by the end of this episode that I'm the only one drinking. So hopefully, in the next one, it will show.
Well, I've been on Monster Energy, so at the moment I'm monstrously energetic. Monstrously energetic. That is me. I'm going to go for.
I'm monsterly gin and tea.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're fast approaching 11 o'clock at night now. I'm going to, finish my drink, go lie awake in the dark for a bit. That's
because that's what happens when you drink so much energy drink.
That's it. You got that much energy. I mean, I will thrash around in bed like I am fighting a ghost. It's
no.
Oh, get him with the bicycle kick. So that's the problem. So next time.
Oh God.
Next time I'm looking forward to the drinks from the past, like a boozy time machine.
The Boozy Time Machine. That's going to be the title of the episode. Boozy Time Machine.
The Boozy Time Machine. I think
the Boozy Time Machine.
I think there's got to be something better than that. But if you want to give us a shout and tell us a hilarious pun, preferably a pun, because I fucking love a pun.
How do we do that, Matthew?
I'll tell you now. So if you want to give us a shout, we're on Twitter at what's_age. That's one.
Yep.
There you go. I'll be just give us a shout. I'll chat to anyone. I'm fucking bored. Then we're on Instagram at what's my age again TTYL, which is obviously because you've been listening to and watching the What's My Age Again podcast, and we are a member of the That Thing You Like network. It's nice to be nice, and go and give the other lads have a look. There's all sorts of stuff going on. But exactly. If you want to give us a shout. That's where we are. Have you got anything you need to throw in before we say arrivederci?
No, just make sure you subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you've listened to it on a platform that enables you to leave a review, please leave a review, because these are really helpful, and it will kind of get our approval rating will go up, and people will start to listen more, and it'll become more of a community, and that's what we want. Basically, we want this podcast to be part of the network, and we want the network to kind of reach around as many people as possible and create this big community of people talking about things that they really enjoy. And that's the whole point of the network, and that's the reason why we're doing the whole thing. So, for me, just make sure you do everything you can to show the fact you like this podcast. Tell a friend as well. Tell friends about it. It's fun. We talk a lot of shit, but we like to talk about.
That's
shit.
It. If you tell one friend, and then they tell one friend, and then they tell one friend, and then maybe the third or fourth friend's really popular, and they tell 12 friends.
And if you're the unpopular person who tells someone that you like the podcast and they just dismiss you because they don't really care about your opinion, then maybe tell your dog. Maybe they'll tell their other dog friends who'll tell their owners, and you never know. The word will spread no matter what. You know
what? If they dismiss you because they don't care about your opinion, give me a shout. What's my age again?
Circled it back. Circled it back.
There we go. Right. Matthew?
Yes,
Matthew. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure. Before we go, let's do the social medias, man. Where can we find you?
Where can you find me? Oh, no.
Yeah.
My social media is embarrassingly bad. It's just me talking shite. So I'm on Twitter as well at Beastly Beasts HC. That's me on there. Just being myself, obviously. I'm on Instagram at The Metal Men. I'm on there as well. It's boring, but it's my life. So there's that. And go on then, Matt. Where are we finding you in your many iterations?
You can find me personally at the MTC UK on Twitter. Just send me a follow, and I'll probably most likely follow you back. And then on the same again, and then on Instagram, Matthew Thomas Carline. That's Matthew with 2 T's, Thomas, and then Carline. The only way to spell Matthew. Anyone who spells Matthew with 1 T is insane. No one spells Matthew with 1 T.
Just wait. I'm going to get on the Discord and I'm going to kick off about it right now.
I don't care. I think that's the perfect way. I will see you on the Discord, sir.
Later, sir.
Bye. This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials at TTYL Network.